This is Jason Avant, and this is the NFL Player Second Acts podcast. Check it out.
What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is my guy, Rome. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? I mean, you didn't even count it down, but it's all
I did
good.
count it down. Why I got to go to one for the countdown?
You're right. You don't have to. But anyways, before we get into all that, let's thank our viewers and our listeners, wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much, as always. Give us a 5-star rating, a review, click follow, and make sure you continue to spread the word about all the good things we're talking about here on the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. So, Peanut, who's our guest today?
Hey, man, we got a good one. This guy is from, I don't want to say my hometown, but we from the same part of the town. We got from the same hood. 4th round draft pick in 2006. Same draft class as you.
Yep, 2006.
Out of the University of Michigan, played 10 years in the NFL, the Eagles, the Panthers, and the Chiefs. Now he's an entrepreneur and has his own podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Avant.
Thanks for having me, gents. The 5-4 offside peanut defense type stuff going on.
Yeah, he's trying to jump set you already.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he's trying to jump set you already.
Why do you have to go to one?
I mean, clearly you don't. This is your show.
This is your show. It's your rules.
Y'all probably won't see this, but I said the cameraman, they give me the speed. All right, 5, 4, and then I just go right into it. I don't always have to go down to one, man. Like I'm just,
It's all
It's
good.
your world. It's your world.
So, I'm
Thanks
really
for having me, though, Jason.
Yeah, man,
Thanks.
I'm really, really excited to have Jason in the building. I said this outside, and I'll tell the people as well, and I want to look in the cameras like, Jason Vaugh's one of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life. I had the pleasure to be a teammate of his in 2014. I watched this man in college. We came out the same year. And to see you grow and actually be in the locker room and share that time with you was very special because you wore not only your emotions on your sleeve, but your faith on your sleeve. When you see you, we see how strong your faith is. And not only that, but it allows others, whether you're trying to live that life and walk that walk with God, or you're trying to get closer to that, you encourage it all. And you encourage more people to be themselves and who they are and be in your spot and be comfortable with that. And so anytime you got somebody as strong as you are in your faith and still able to compete at the highest level, you are a man that walks the walk, talks the talk, and I just want everybody to know it was how much of a pleasure it is to share a locker room with somebody like you.
Well, first of all, glory to God, and it was always a pleasure to be around you, Ro. You led the defense like none other, you and Luke and everyone. So I'd never really, in the NFL, like I would say I'd never really wanted to, talk to people about my faith. I wanted to allow my life to, speak the example. And that's anything as far as leadership, right? So everyone has a want to talk. I wanted to live out loud. That was my goal and my purpose to go in there and do that. And hopefully it resonated with somebody and helped someone.
Well, it totally resonated.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he's one of the hardest working guys. And he's not a receiver like most are that are kind of divas. I hate to say that, but
hold on.
He's not a diva.
Hold on. All of us have a little bit of diva in there. I'll say that all of us think that we're the best thing since sliced bread, and that's okay, right? But
I want my receiver to feel that way.
Yeah, you have to at somewhere down in there. You just have to be willing to die for the team when it comes to that process. So you may be the person that's going over the middle, catching the 3rd and 9 and giving up your body. You have to be that person, or you got to be the guy that's starting the screen to get blocked. You may have to do that. But all of us think that we're open on every play.
Right?
And
them hot hands
that's
every play.
Every play, I'm open. Throw me the ball. You want to win or not? That's in the back of all of our mind.
Well, I appreciate you clearing that up.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I made a 13. You got what, 10?
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
10, what are you, 12?
11.
11, excuse me. So crazy stories throughout our entire careers, high school, college, all that. What was your welcome to the NFL moment when you got in the league back in 06?
You know what? I wish I can run faster. That was my Achilles heel. If I can run faster, man, I would be a Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer if I could run fast, right? So I remember getting into the league, and I'm thinking I'm going to go into camp because I had all the shake at the line of scrimmage. And I would shake a dude, and I'm like, dude, I'm slow. Because he would catch up. I was shaking, boom, boom. I'd be passing him. I'll turn around. He right there. I'm like, man, I got to come up with 3-4 moves within this pattern in order to get it, in order to compete. But I would say seeing Nnamdi Asomugha in the Hall of Fame game, just on us, like, I wasn't in yet, but I was like right next to him. He was lining up. I'm like, this dude is like 6'4". And like lining up and touching everybody. No matter what you did, he got his hands on you. That was like my welcome to NFL moment. And I remember talking junk to Randy Moss on the sideline once I got into the game, and I'd be in the running route and I slipped down the field. He's like, Rook, shut up and just play your game. So that Hall of Fame game was like my welcome to NFL moment.
Yeah, I love it because most people don't realize that how fast the game is. So fast. How what it looks like when you come from college and you get into a locker room, you're like, oh no, that's a pro.
Oh, way different. Way different. I remember going into, like, I had a lot of injuries my first year. Went to University of Michigan, so everybody's like favorite player is Charles Woodson.
Yes, of course.
Like being at the University of Michigan, Charles Woodson's like everywhere.
That dude.
So we're going up to play Green Bay, and he got traded to Green Bay. And I'm up all night because I'm in the slot. And this is back in the day where, like, there was dudes in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like
Woodson won MVP playing mostly in the slot.
Playing the slot. So he's in the slot. And I'm up all night. I'm like, dude, I'm about to go against Charles Woodson. He about to embarrass me, whatever it was. I'm like, no, let's go out and give him work. I made him fall down in that game. And I was like, oh, man, I can play in the NFL nowadays. Yeah, and that was his worst rep that probably he ever had. But I remember it. It was like the defining moment of my career as a young guy.
Sometimes that's all it takes, though, just for you, that little, like, man, I got this.
I can play.
I can play in this league.
I want to know, what did it feel like? Take us back in that moment, the miracle on Meadowlands, when Deshaun Jackson fumbled the punt, then all of a sudden scoops it up, takes it back to the house. For those that don't know, Deshaun Watson returned a punt versus the New York
Jackson,
Deshaun Jackson, sorry. Returned a punt versus the New York Giants to win the game.
14 seconds left, fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was crazy. And he even did good by kind of showbraiding at the end to kind of run out the clock, too.
Yeah, we were the craziest thing about that game is we were down 21. I don't know, 21 or some points like that with maybe like 5 minutes ago. It was unbelievable.
It was a crazy game. It was a lot of turnovers.
A lot of turnovers.
A lot of fumbles.
Yeah, a lot of fumbles.
A lot of fumbles.
So I remember neither one of us at this point in our career are on punt return. Deshaun wasn't a normal punt returner at that time, and I wasn't a normal, but I was always known to be a good, like, punt return as far as, like, getting blocks and or blocking the kick. So the coach was like, hey, Jay, we need you to go in and try to block the kick. So I go out. So I tell Deshaun, I'm like, Deshaun, you got to go. I'm going there. You going in there. So Deshaun's like, oh, of course I'm going in. And so I couldn't get to the punt block, but I see him drop the ball. And as soon as he drops the ball, Omar Gaither knocks down 3 dudes with 1 block. A little questionable. He got a little dude on the edge. You know, like that little pad, that front pad got him and knocked
the Giants say it's a clipping. The Phillies like, dude, it's a great block.
The Eagles like, great block. So Deshaun hits that hole. I see one dude left. It's me and I think it's Mike Diassi. The snapper linebacker. He wasn't just a snapper. He was a linebacker that got converted into a snapper. And so I tried to go in with good technique, but I was so excited I went in high, knocked both of us out. Worst technique ever, but it was the game-winning block. I'll take it, right? So we went to the ESPYs for that play, and it was a cool time.
You guys went to ESPYs for that?
Yeah, we went to ESPY for that play. Yeah.
Did you ever get any love for that block that you gave?
All the time in Philly. They still remember that probably as the most defining block of my career. Like, they remember a couple catches in that block. Oh, Avant, man, I remember that block with Deshaun Jackson. I'm like, cool, whatever it takes. Keep on inviting me back to these appearances, make this money.
So you knocked yourself out. Because, I did see that you stayed down after that too, though.
Oh, yeah. I knocked both of us out. And it was like, I didn't have to do it. Back in those days, you was just like running to people. It wasn't like protection like it is now.
That's where you get them kill shots. Nobody was looking. Yeah.
Back in the day,
that's back in the football was real, yeah. Yeah. That's what we did all the time.
Are you going?
Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. So I thought it was your question. I apologize.
No,
my bad.
It's all good, man.
Tell me a story about Andy Reid. I hear this dude is like so chill, so laid back. Does he really like cheeseburgers?
Oh, he talks about cheeseburger and ice cream like no tomorrow.
Oh, he just talks about them all the time?
He talks about cheeseburgers and ice cream. That's what he does. He's a cheeseburger dude. Yeah,
I heard it, but I've never like asked someone like the question. Like, he really
always had like the best chefs and stuff around at the Eagles, just because like they pay chefs a lot of money at the Eagles, Chiefs, wherever he is, because that man can eat. That's what he's about. He's unapologetic about that. I'll tell you some a story about Coach Reid. What makes him kind of special is that you hear people talk about using players to their optimal ability, but he's really about that life. He is a guy that examines who he's drafted and already has a clear defined role, and he's not a coach that paints within the lines. That's what makes him different. You see what Kelce and Patrick Mahomes does all the time. They're usually playing off time. The play is done, and those two guys can play backyard football. But Coach Reid is one of the only coaches that will allow that. Like I said, I wasn't a fast guy, and I told Coach Reid, earlier in my career, I think after my second year, I was like, hey, Coach, everyone in this building wants me to run these lines, but I'm not going to be able to get open the way you get open. I know my responsibility. I know where I need to be. Just let me go outside the lines to get open. And he's like, okay, as long as you can do it within the system, let's go ahead and do it. And I was able to play 10 years in the league because he allowed me that autonomy. And he did that for multiple players that probably wouldn't have made it on other teams, but because he had that open-mindedness, that's what makes him special. He thinks outside of the box. I'm sitting there watching the Commanders and watching Eric Bieniemy and Coach Reid, their games. They run the same exact offense that we ran then. The quarterback can do a little bit more, but just creative stuff, just different formations, different motions, same plays.
Look, as a player, all we ever ask is for the coach to help us put in position to make plays.
Yeah.
That's the best coaches. They don't overcoach it. They ain't over. We're going to put you in possession to make, there's no superhero that's going to come in off the street and help save us. The ones we got in the room is who we're going to win with.
Yeah, I always say, like you said, put us in position and eliminate the gray area. Don't have people in the situation where you told me to do something as a coach and then it didn't work and now you blaming me in the media. Now, no, you told me to do that. Like just eliminate gray area. And I love the coaches that stand up. Like, I taught him to do this, I'll take it. I told him to do that. Just eliminate gray area and put us in good position. You're good.
Jason, so looking back on your career, if you had one word to sum up your career, what are you proud of? What do you look back on and say, man, this would be like who I am? And if it's not one word, one statement, one thought.
You know what? I would say this, is that I'm blessed because I believe I got the most out of my ability. If the NFL standard, had a baseline, I would think that I would be right below that baseline. But I was able to overachieve and get the most because I put in the work for it. So I'm proud of it. I can look at even my failures. Like, there's times where I dropped the ball, but I never dropped the ball out of fear. I was attacking. I can look at myself in the mirror knowing that I was attacking the football, knowing I was going after a dude. I don't care if it was a linebacker, or a safety. Everybody knew if I was out there, you're going to get cut or I'm going to hit you. Something's going to happen, right? So I can look at myself in the mirror knowing that I attacked it, not having the most talent, and I made the best out of it. And I was always a team stand-up person, right? And that's the only thing that you can say. Like, I wish I had Calvin Johnson's ability.
Ain't nobody got them.
I wish I did. But everyone doesn't have that. And these are stories that we don't hear. Like, you don't hear about the special teams guy that may not have the most talent, or the guy that's the backup tight end, or the third receiver, fourth receiver. Like, you can make something. Look at Slater.
I was literally going to say his name.
You can make something out of yourself as long as you willing to do that work, So I'm proud of that.
That's what's up. So I'm a Chicago guy. You're a Chicago guy. And I still live there now. Tons of violence in the city. My dad lived in the Gardens growing up as a kid.
Wild Hunters.
The Wild Hunters, yeah. So my Ogdale Gardens, yeah.
I went to school there. That's why he talking about it.
So my pops is from the Wild Hunters, and I mean it's changed a lot. And the violence, it grows and grows every year. Talk to me about, one, like some of the things that you saw as a kid, and two, like how those situations that you saw as a kid kind of changed you and mold you to who you are today.
I'll give you guys a story because this is when I think about this, it started to make me cry and tear up because God's been good to me. My grandmother who raised me, I didn't have my mom left when I was a baby. My dad was in and out of jail. And my grandmother had a house on the south side of Chicago. We grew up in the Argyle, Robert Taylor Home Projects. Then she moved to 91st Street, neighborhood 9-0 gang, Gangster Disciples. And, you know, she was like a praying woman, and she loved the community. I didn't have a place to go, so I had to stay in my grandmother's room. It was 14 people in this house at times, a lot of people, cousins, multiple people. And every night she would lay her hands on me. Lord, do something for him, get him out of this neighborhood, change his life, give him direction. She used to pray for me 30 minutes every night at least. I would go to sleep every night with her, you know, praying for me. Her and my aunt were like two solid people in my family. On the other side of the aisle, different part of the house, I had family members that were like leaders in the Gangster Disciples, not like normal like foot soldiers or laymen. No, we're talking about regions and coordinators like of gangs. Like, so before you know it, I was selling drugs in and out in the streets, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Like, I knew what it's like to carry pistols, shoot guns. I knew what it's like to cut cocaine and cook cocaine when I was a young boy because of this other side of my family. And I've had multiple family members that were shot up on our porch that we had to pull in and try to resuscitate them, call the ambulance, all types of like horrific things. But the thing that kind of was a saving grace for me was my grandmother's prayers. Lord, do something for him, change his life, get him out of this neighborhood. And I was a part of my environment, but it wasn't in my heart. I was the scariest drug dealer in the history of drug dealers, right? It just wasn't me because of the way my grandmother had me wired. Our house was raided 2 times, and then if you get raided 3 times in the state of Illinois, they take your home. And so my grandmother scattered us all over Chicago. I wasn't playing sports at all, but in this next neighborhood, I was playing basketball. And I was good at it. I began to be like a very good player. My basketball coach went to Carver Military Academy. It wasn't military then, it was just Carver Area High School. Was also the football coach, Coach Simp. Coach Simp is the basketball coach and the football coach. He said, you can't play basketball for me unless you play football. Man, he put me out there linebacker the first practice. ISO'd me with the fullback. I'm at linebacker. This dude killed me by a good 8 to 10 straight times. I quit your mama. My dad calls from prison. Okay. And my grandmother tells me the story. My dad told me, you don't want to end up in prison. Get back out there, do this. He changes my position. This is when I was a sophomore in high school. Put me at running back. I was so afraid to get touched, either a touchdown, out of bounds, or I got down before I can get hit for an entire year. Play corner. Every time they threw the ball my way, I picked it. So next year they're like, hey, let's put this dude at receiver as a junior. 1 year playing receiver, I was the number one player in the state of Illinois. And it was my grandmother every night, Lord, do something special in his life, change his life, get him out of his neighborhood. It would be people coming up to me. Look, God's going to touch your hands, put oil on my hands. He going to do something with your hands. You're going to be able to get out of his neighborhood, change your family's life, because these are stories that just happen. So the things that it's a miracle for me to be standing here and be sitting here talking to you guys today. It was because of my grandmother's prayers, because of the people that are around me, people like Coach Simp, people like my aunt. So that's my story of growing up, and that's why like I was strong in faith, is because I realized that the power of God. Like I no killers, grew up with it, was a part of that, and that's why I always had like a mean streak. Even though I was a saved dude, like I still got a little South Side in me just for a rainy day. It never went anywhere. Like, it's always been like that.
Don't let this kindness fool you.
Don't let this brown jacket get in the way.
Try Jesus, not me, because I throw hands.
I can't pull this jacket off.
Every time.
All right. One more, just going back on that, because myself growing up in Alabama, definitely on the other side of the tracks, where it's like I'm upper, I would say middle class, where I grew up at. What was that time like, and what is the mental capacity of a 11, 12-year-old kid being comfortable around cutting up cocaine or having to carry a gun? Like, can maybe just take me there in a mindset? And you said you were scared, but every day, I know you couldn't show that fear.
Yeah, no. So like when you're like it's just like anything else. Like when you get to play that first time, you get to play football with the older dudes, and you can't show, even though you're afraid out of your mind.
You can't show it.
You can't show it. You can't show it, right? They try to throw you up in the air. Let's hit him. Let's see if he can take it. That type of thing. And that's what it was for me. So you had to play that way in order to survive. So you didn't think this was something that you just got tired of people talking about your XJ900s. You remember XJ9? You from Chicago? Those are Payless version shoes where Jordan dunked like from the side. He comes from over here, and you get tired of that. So you see somebody that's in the street selling drugs, right? They got the fresh Jordans on. They got a nice car. They have money. They have a watch. They have something that you would like, and you're impoverished, right? So you want those things. So that kind of changes the way you think about it. You're like, this is just what I got to do in order to get by. So it was more of like a necessity in my mind rather than I wasn't thinking about the future at that moment in time. And also, I couldn't let my family's name down as well. That was something like the Avant family on the south side of Chicago. We had a little bit of ring to it when it came to Larry Hoover's Gangsta Disciples. That's what it was.
Yeah. So do you have like a close story, like looking back on that time now, and it was like, man, I know God got me out of that situation, but that was really close. That I almost died, or do you have a
like crazy stuff? I remember, like back in the day, like this is kind of getting in that. Back in the day, they used to have like where we used to keep crack cocaine. It used to be in your zipper. We call it zipperoo. Yeah. You would cut an incision on the inside of your zipper. You would stick it down in there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like it because there was this dude named Super Cop in our neighborhood that would always check the zipperoo, right? So I used to keep it in my shoe, like in like this little concealed. So the police swooped out of the alley so fast one time, and got all of us hemmed up, and I had it in my shoe. And he went to go take my shoe off, and boop, got a little call, taking him to Terratown, which is like 75th Street.
Yeah, right. 75th, 79th, and all that.
Down there, right? So, and literally, he was in my shoe, right in my left shoe where I used to keep it, and got a call, got out of there. I was like, man, that was a miracle in and of itself. My junior year, I'm into sports now, and I would go train at different places. I had my aunt's car. I'm trying to cut up 115th Street, and on this area, 115th Street, is like a bunch of Mexicans, Hispanics there, right? And in this particular area, the Mexicans and black people didn't get along. Right. It's like Latin Kings, Gangsta Disciples. They didn't get along. You don't go through their neighborhood, they don't come through your neighborhood, and that's just how it was growing up there. It was taking so long, and I was getting so frustrated. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make this left and get up here before anybody see me. I make a left, and as soon as I make a left, it was a car on the corner that I did not see with its lights off. Group of Hispanic men T-boned my car. At this time, I had a torn ACL, right? Because I tore my ACL in high school. I couldn't get out of the car, but they were able to wedge me over and stop us both. Yeah. I tried to get out of the car and run. It was enough space there, but I was panicking. I couldn't get out because it was kind of tight. The dude had got out. They were like speaking in Spanish. The dude got out with something in his hand coming around my car. I was able to get my car off of his and go up through yards and go across State Street full speed and able to get out of there. Like certain things, I look back on my life, man, God has had his hand on me for a long time.
Man, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's just how.
Your grandmother has definitely planted that seed, and God has looked after you since day one, honestly. Yeah. And talking about that, what would your grandmother, if she could tell us right now, looking back on what Jason Avant has become, this man, what would she say about you?
I think about this a lot because I lost her when I was in college. And it's so funny is because she gave me like my first like Bible and my first like CD when I was like a senior going off to college. She gave me all of this stuff. Like we had stuff in the house, but she gave me my own personal stuff. And I got to college, I'm like, man, I'm from Chicago, I'm at the University of Michigan, I'm about to turn this place out. Right? Yeah. So later in my freshman year, I like kind of committed to Christ, committed to God. And not too much longer after that, she died. It seemed like she was waiting around just for that to happen. And so I'm just hoping that I'm making her proud.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only thing that you could do. I know that she would be. Because I'm one of the only people in my family to attend and to complete college, and and I know she's proud of that.
Man, that's great, man. And she would be.
Yeah,
she would be.
Yeah. So what would you tell a kid in a similar situation, right? I live there, so I see the news all the time, and there's always a lot of carjackings, and there's a bunch of 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds carjacking people and robbing people, and I want to believe that these young men are fairly in some situations kind of like you as a kid, like maybe just no guidance from, say, a father figure, and they just need someone to love them. So if you could offer these young men some words of encouragement, what would you tell them?
I get access because I still do camps, still do a bunch of stuff back home. I would say this is that you have to hear a higher word, and that's the thing, right? So I'm a firm believer in that faith comes by hearing. Yeah. So if you hear that you can make it, it's like the home team. The home team normally wins most because the home team is the one that's being applauded most. And a kid that gets applauded, gets encouraged, gets positivity, gets positive reinforcement and affirmation is the kid that's going to be successful. So I would say gravitate toward the people that's giving you positive information. And usually that's going to come in the form, if you don't have a parent at home, it's going to come in the form of a counselor, it's going to come in the form of a teacher, it's going to come in the form of the boys club, the YMCA. Get involved in structure where you're going to have positive reinforcement, because that thought process is what's going to change. I remember hearing those things and having like small experiences. I would love when my aunt would take me to Six Flags, because she worked there and she would get those passes for her family every now and again, and I would go. But that was me seeing something and hearing different things, right? So I would say try your best to get experiences that are outside of your community, and also stay around people that's going to give you positive reinforcement when it comes to affirmations.
Dude, I had to write that down. That's gold. I hope everybody really caught that. That was a gold nugget right there. Yeah, man. So what are you up to now? I mean, I know I've read your bio, done deep diving, but share with the crowd, please. I know you're an entrepreneur in the whole launch.
I've been running Launch Trampoline Park in South Jersey. I had 3 stores. I'm down to 1. I sold 2. But I still have my one in Deptford, New Jersey. I've been doing it since 2016. I actually retired in order to do that. I still had, some training camp stuff, but you never know training camp when you get old. They just want you as a training camp body. But anyhow, I was like, it was time for me to be done. I shadowed when I was playing. So I would.
You went in and did everything.
Yeah, I went to Sky Zones. I went to Dave and Buster's. I went to main events. I went to Dreddy's. I went to all types of places and just used my name. Like, hey, I'm this person that played for the Eagles. They're like, oh, come on in, just say hi to my customers. But they wouldn't show me. They would show me how to, do books. They would show me how to book parties, work the POS system, inventory, all types of things. And I did that in the off seasons. And when I retired, I was already ahead of the curve when it came to running my own business, because I was in the parks in the off seasons. And I did that, and the store was number 1 for 5 out of my 7, going on 7 years. 5. Yeah, it's been 5 out of 7 years we've been number 1 store, and I love to do it. I do that. I do, radio for the sideline and color for the University of Michigan, all of their games. Yeah, right. So I do that. I do NBC Sports Philadelphia, CB Sports Philadelphia, multiple podcasts. Trying my best to become like you gentlemen, and keep it going in any aspect. So. Yeah.
Now, why was it important for you to do that the grunt work when you didn't have to? Like, you think it made you better? It just made you more of a better. It made you a better businessman.
Yeah, you know why? Because I can't deny that, yes, the NFL is great, and it's provided for us in ways that we couldn't imagine, and for our families and for generations after us if we do right? So you can't deny that, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that we've been doing football for so long.
That's all we know.
Yeah, we've been doing it a long time. And so I didn't want to go out and invest my money and not have any experience in this. So I figured that if I can get into a franchise that has a proven track record, 1, and then me work in the business for multiple years in the off season, and I would say a total would probably be a year and a half, but to get comfortable with it, to see if I like it, and to see if I can realistically run it and have that experience. So it was, instead of going back to school for it, it was just basically a really long internship.
So
So I thought that was important to do.
So this podcast you're on, you and Quentin Michael,
Yeah.
big fan of his as a safety.
Did you guys have the 1 year before that? Y'all, yeah.
I barely missed him. I
I
barely missed him at Carolina.
Yeah.
But I always watched him when he was at St. Louis, and I always watched him everywhere he was at, just because, when you play the same position, this is what
You gotta see it. Yeah,
So
you gotta
tell
see
me
it.
a couple of things about that guy, and what makes that podcast stand out, because we can always plug and show
Yeah.
love, because we all need to follow each other, and we always have support each other.
So we are on Inside the Birds, YouTube platform, Amazon, all that, and it's called the Q&A Show. And Q is a great dude, and he's always been a rock solid teammate, rock solid dad, and I love to be around people like that. It's easy to work with like-minded people, right? To have your same values, your same approach, the same methodical approach that you have when it comes to looking at the film and game. So when we're talking, receiver and DB play, it's pretty interesting, because it's coming from guys that had to know the game. Everybody in this room had to really know. We all know dudes that just was so athletic
Different.
that they didn't have to do crap. But us in this room had to know the game, and that adds a lot of value to a podcast, So we have fun doing it. We talk about some off the wall topics sometimes, and I always say he's he keeps it real. Both of us do. The hardest thing about being in the media is your relationship with your team.
Especially when they're doing bad.
That's the toughest part, right? Because I still do a bunch of stuff for the Eagles. I'm probably their number one legend, right? When it comes to sports camps that they do. I just did one this morning. Speaking of corporate sponsors, I still do, I would say 50 events for the Eagles a year. So you have to call it out. So if Jalen Hurts is not playing well, I have to say it.
But there's a way to say it, though.
There's a political way to say it, and then there's a way to say it like we say it. And I think that has the most I think that's the realest way to say it. Not in a disrespectful way, but if a dude if we're in the locker room and I'm talking to Ro, man, you can't keep getting beat on the post. It's 13 times got beat on the post.
I'm just calling balls and strikes. I'm literally just calling balls and strikes.
Rodney Harrison is oh man, he garbage. He you can't. I guess that's the point I'm trying to get at. You can't just be that.
But Rodney ain't tackled nobody in a while. So the further you get, sometimes you kind of wiggle into that. And it happens. I mean, nobody's perfect. But
I don't think he did it on purpose. But yes, you can't. And Rodney's my man.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Rodney.
Because I know him, it was hilarious. Because dude, you can't say that out loud.
No, you can't. He forgot he was on camera.
Yeah, it was live. It was just live, and sometimes you're he garbage, dog. It's just but as pros, we see guys, and when they play in garbage, it's hard for us not to say that.
Yeah.
But it's they could be better, especially when you're talking about NFL. NFL at the highest quality of players, execution, the margins of error are so small. That's what we're used to seeing. And when you don't live up to those expectations, especially when you get the check, because once you get the check, the expectations rise.
Yeah.
It comes with money. With the NFL dollars comes more responsibility with that, and more criticism on the other side of it. So it's all warranted. And look, everybody's got big boy pants on once you're in that locker room. So nobody's invincible to getting called out.
Everybody can get it.
Everybody can get it. Here's the thing that's really tough to navigate. If you're in the media and you've been covering the team, you don't know nuance. We know nuance. So I can call out something that most people can't. So now I'm the bad guy because I can see it and I can look at the tape and it's no, it wasn't this person. It was this person because of this, and this. And now I'm bringing to light something that maybe nobody else would have seen. Exactly. So those types of things can get you in trouble.
Jason, we literally, our producer behind you, he's not on camera. He's going to stay away. But Thomas, we were just going over some film because I'm watching film for my other show this weekend. And literally, we're talking ball, and I got Peanut in here, and I'm at like, Peanut, like, what is this defense? He's like, dude, I don't even know what that is. And Thomas just starts asking questions. And so we're breaking down, all right, from the defensive backfield, where your eyes need to be, the technique here. Thomas was just enthralled with like, so you're really not looking here. He just, the more and more we talk, the more and more questions he has.
Yeah.
You can go really, really deep
into it.
into football. People don't know how deep the nuanced situation or section in football goes.
We just see it so differently, though.
do.
That's the crazy part. I'm not looking at the quarterback like the. I like the wide copy personally when I watch football games.
I like the all 22.
I want to see all 22 guys. I want to see the safety drop. I want to see the linebackers drop. I need to see the corners, who's cutting, jumping, like who's taking the cheese. Like I want to be able to see all.
Because that tells the real truth.
That tells the real story.
Yeah, because people only follow the ball.
Yes.
So they think that because a guy has a lot of turnovers, say for a defensive back, meaning that he's like this lockdown dude or something because he's intercepting the ball. They don't mean that. You may be a guy that has great timing, but when it comes down to it,
or great ball skills.
Yeah, you can't cover a dude, and the team know that. That's why they keep throwing that.
That's true too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's like different things like that, and like as a receiver, you're not always like a secondary first position. It's a lot. Like there's dudes that's getting open each and every week that don't get the ball.
True.
Right?
Very
may
true.
Have a bad quarterback, bad offensive line, running back not picking up blitz. You can't get the ball. That's how it is.
Yeah. I want to talk about the. You were in the Jason Kelce documentary, right?
Yeah.
And you had a conversation about retirement when you were at the table. Can you talk about that and how that conversation went?
First of all, I didn't know that it was a documentary, right?
Really?
Until I got some paperwork a couple weeks ago saying, "Hey, you got to sign off on this." So it's like we didn't know because we were just like buddies playing poker and kind of organized it, right? Because kind of borrowing, you remember Connor?
Yeah.
And so we all hang out anyway. We're at different events. We play cards anyway, right? So
I'm just kicking it.
And so the cameras are around, but I'm like, it's not too weird because all of us are around cameras a lot doing things. So we didn't know it.
And it's not going to change you that much for real.
Yeah, because we're used to being around the camera. So we just sit and have a conversation. It was some stuff said that night that would have been very interesting, but they took it out.
Right.
But no, the conversation was all of us. I like listening to the old heads. Mike Quick was there. Harold Carmichael was there. It was some guys like giving like a bunch of wisdom out, and I was just telling him that I was like, first of all, you're like the mayor of Philadelphia, so you don't necessarily need football. Your checks are going to be big if you tell any one of these, radio stations, television stations that Jason Kelce is interested in them, you'll be fine. So you don't necessarily need this. And I just told him to listen to his body. He got to, I know he loves it, and what's keeping them going is Jalen Hurts. And people don't know this. Like, what keeps Jason Kelce moving is Jalen Hurts. Because he feels that Jalen Hurts is the best leader that he's been around and the guy that moves the needle. And they have a great relationship. And it's actually, from that moment in time, he was like literally like not knowing if he was going to come back, later in that, to start the season. And now, when you talk to him now, it's like, dude, this dude behind center is just amazing. I want to see him win one.
Yeah. And I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of helping him.
But that's when you got a good team, though. Like the two Super Bowl teams that I was on, when I tried to make our run, when we made our run, our locker room was so dope. And I wanted to win a Super Bowl, one for myself, but more importantly, I really wanted to win it for you. And he wanted to win it for the next person, and so on and so forth. And I think when you have a team, you got a group of men, you got all 53 guys that believe and think the same exact way, and they're not selfish. They play unselfish football. It's 11 guys doing one thing, not one guy doing 11 different things. Like when you can get 11 guys doing one thing, like that's when you know you got a really good team. And I think Jason and Hurts, they bestow that. Like I feel that when I look at them when he talks about them, like you feel it.
Yeah.
They got real good chemistry.
I used to hate playing against the Bears defense, boy, because you know two things. You're just gonna get hit, right? And the grass is gonna be about this long.
Man.
Well,
I didn't even wear 7 studs. You going to Chicago, you better have 7 studs. The only place where the grass is just.
I wore 7 studs, and I played. It was a home team. Like, I wore the 7 studs.
Yeah, you wore 7 studs every week. You guys are the only team in the league that's wearing 7 studs in the 2000s.
Oh man, you.
Yeah, had to at Soldier Field.
And
has
there been a better linebacker besides Urlacher when it comes to playing cover 2?
No, he was like,
oh my gosh, him and Derrick Brooks, but yeah.
Derrick Brooks played Will though. I mean, the Mike, he's like built for that. It's crazy as it was, but yeah,
I'm like,
man.
dude, I'm running as fast as I can. He's running in the middle, and nobody getting over the top of him.
Yeah, he was tall.
So
put that hand up, so you really got to like sink that thing in there.
Yeah.
I think one of the best stories though I remember though is we played y'all. I want to say it might have been 2008, and I was covering Deshaun the whole game. I was shadowing him, and I got one forced fumble. You know, nothing too crazy, whatever.
Nothing too crazy. A forced fumble, just one. Yeah, the peanut punch. He got a whole terminology. Yeah, Randy Moss got Moss. Then we got the peanut punch.
So I ended up getting one, and I was trying to show Thomas this, but I'll end up finding later on. But Deshaun is running like an over route, and he catches it, takes a couple steps. I punch it out. I got my second one, but it's on your sideline. You looked so mad. Because you picked up the ball, and you put it on your hip and was just like.
Because we talk about this all damn day. We talk about it all day.
Your body language was just like, God dang it. But the way he picked it up, though, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. Like, it was just, you had it like this and just was like,
Jason, I've been there. I remember all week long, Sean Payton's like, look, playing against the Bears, this guy peanut freaking tell me I don't want to see a ball on the ground. This week, just let me call it. I don't want no yak. Catch the ball, get down. He's out there lurking. He's that fish out there. He's lurking. I don't want to see it, ball. I don't want to see it. Second possession, he thumbs out. Because everybody gets excited off of it, too. It's like, it
was like a dunk in a basketball game. It was like a
the
whole energy.
Everybody's up now. Now everybody's up. Like, oh, here we go again. Now we in a dogfight. Because we just didn't get down. He's just trying to get just a little bit extra. The next, ball on the ground.
Like, I think he ain't gonna get it out on me. Like, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I don't know. I'm thinking like, even though y'all talked about it the whole week, there had to be some competitive spirit. Was like, nah, he ain't getting it out on me.
No, everybody. Some guys are just aloof at times. Like they just go like they in the whole like everybody else is paying attention to, like intently in the meeting. Like, oh yeah, we can't let Peanut get the ball out. Another dude's on the cell phone in the back. You know what I mean? It's like that in NFL, right? It's like you have the guys that care, and you got the guys that be like, man, this is just a job.
So true. so true. Damn true. All right. Let's get to some fun questions here. Like this hasn't already been fun enough. You're a basketball player. That was your first love. That's where your heart was at. I looked up the whole story on your YouTube, and Coach Simpson was talking about that too. And you mentioned already, he's like, dude, you ain't playing on my basketball team unless you play football.
Yeah.
So he kind of pushed you over that way, and then you found you had a really great talent at it. But this is straight barbershop question right here.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 basketball players of all time. This is straight barbershop right here.
All right. Am I doing it in position groups?
You know what?
Is it a starting 5 or is just your? Is it
Give me a starting 5.
All right, yeah.
Give me a starting 5.
All right. See, that's the easier one. All right. So starting 5, Magic.
Okay, Magic at the point.
Yeah.
Not mad at that.
At the 2, Jordan. At the 3, LeBron. At the 4, Tim Duncan. And at the 5, Olajuwon.
So I was gonna say.
So how about with this? How about like once one name is picked, we get to like take them off the board. Let's make it even more. All right, I love this. All right, Peanut.
I'm not gonna give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I gotta write mine down because I got Kobe. I got You said you said Akeem, right?
No. I said Dream. I said King.
God dang it. I wanted to. All right. So, I got Magic. Not Magic, Dr. J.
Okay. I'm not mad at that pick.
I got Dr. J. I got give me Shaq. Kobe,
you in a bad position.
Shaq. Yo, I'm gonna take
You got a lot of power forwards.
I'm gonna take Steph. And then I'm also gonna take who was a dog? I need another guard. I need like a dog. Who was a dog at that guard? Go. Give me another 30 seconds. I'm gonna let you go.
All right, so all right, I'm gonna go with my team, and I know not everybody's gonna love this, but I'm gonna go Dame at the 1 because I need big points in last second situations. I know Dame is clutch. I'm gonna go Klay Thompson for his ability to be able to shoot and play defense at the 2, and he's height. At the 3, you already got Dr. J. You already took LeBron. All right, at the 3, let me come back. Oh, you know what? I'll take Larry Bird. Tripping. I'm going to take Larry Bird. And at the 4 spot, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go with Dirk Nowitzki at the 4. And then I'm going to take Wilt at the 5. Oh, no, I'm taking Kareem at the 5. How dare I? Give me Kareem. Even though Wilt's great, too, because Wilt ran like a 400-yard sprinter. So,
Larry, you got some shooting.
yeah, I can shoot.
Some shooting.
I can shoot.
He got some shooting.
I might need to get Wilt at the 5 just for better, so I can have somebody to defend the rim. But because I don't know if Hakeem was known for that. I mean, not Hakeem, but Kareem was known for
Kareem,
Kareem
could break the rim.
But, you know, I'll take Kareem, though.
I'm gonna go Oscar Robinson.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think I'm killing y'all. Though.
This is why I said it's straight. Straight barbershop conversation.
I think I'm killing y'all.
I think it's straight barbershop conversation. Who your 5? Who my 5? This is exactly why I was like,
the only thing, if it all depends on the area. Like
completely.
3-point shooting on yours is crazy.
Yes, I got 3-4 guys and fill it up.
Yeah.
All right, I got one for you. Scrabble. Okay. Big guy. You big Scrabble guy, right? What's
Used
the most?
to be.
Used to be. All right. What's the most points you got on one word?
I've been over 100 on one word.
One word?
What was the word? Like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
No. It may have been.
Was it pensive or something?
No.
What does that even mean? Pensive?
I think I got like.
Don't embarrass me.
So you got to get So what happens is somebody, in order to get 100 on one word, you got to get like somebody that makes a mistake. Like usually, an inexperienced player.
Oh, Rome is your guy.
No doubt.
You could get him all day.
They'll leave like a word right before triple, but you can get to the next triple.
Yeah.
With 7 letters.
Okay.
Right. So I remember getting triples in 2 spots. Right. So it was some word, and then my word was something like soapier, and I ended up getting into the next triple. So you get all of those. You get 2 triples. Yeah. So that ended up like that. So it was just spacing and somebody being bad.
We'll talk about pensive after.
Yeah. Don't be embarrassed.
But you gotta like.
I got a great vocabulary.
And yeah.
Just
but remember the Scrabble.
It don't come out like that.
I forgot you from Alabama.
Don't come out like
yeah. The Scrabble dictionary has a bunch of words that are not just English words, right?
Right.
So there's a lot. Like if you know all the 2-letter words that are in the Scrabble dictionary that are not English words, you got a good chance, like knowing all the
I need the Scrabble dictionary. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I only had the regular
I won't
dictionary.
play with you if you don't have a Scrabble dictionary. Yeah, you gotta have Scrabble dictionary.
Mind blown.
I didn't even know they had their own dictionary.
Yeah, you can't play Scrabble without.
I was just like a Webster's.
Yeah, no, you gotta know all the words that starts with Q that don't have a U.
So are you a big reader naturally?
Yeah, like I'm more of a brain game guy. Like I usually like this app called Elevate, and it usually involves reading and math and stuff like that. And then I don't read the entire book, but I have a different app called the Blink List, and you can read like 15-minute, 20-minute excerpts of any book, and it basically is a summary of the entire book. And I do that each day.
See?
Elevate Blink List. I put that on my.
Good job. You're really into this stuff like that.
I'm a reader. I read books. I'm trying to help them.
You are. I'm like, you know what I mean? I treat reading like my swimming ability. You know what I'm saying? Like, I survive. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't drowning. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't getting in the ocean.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Ain't messing up my hair.
Yeah. I ain't messing up my hair. All right, well, Jason, bro, I got to know.
Y'all are hilarious.
So we like to ask most of our guests this, if not all of this. And you know, I want to tell you, and I'll just be 100 with you. We said this. Peanut said this to your boy Nnamdi Asomugha, and Nnamdi's like, well, you know, he tries to be a little bit different than most, and he's like, no, whoa, I don't want this the same question as everybody else.
Oh, you don't. That's nah.
That's not. And then he's like, oh, okay. Well, let me think on it. And he asked him, if you had a Mount Rushmore of people of influence, who would those 4 people be?
Influence in my life?
Yeah.
Oh, for me.
For you.
Okay.
4 people.
Personal Mount Rushmore.
Oh, personal. My grandmother's number 1. She's like in the middle. Bling! Right there in the middle. I would say my college pastor, Pastor Cannon. He would be there.
Just because he was there for you when you
He
converted.
taught me so much.
Yeah.
And he always, it wasn't about sports or anything like that. I was a freshman going to his church, and he would literally he would be on the phone with me going over stuff. I'm like, dude, she got a big booty. What do you want me to do with this? He like, dude, don't go after the temptation.
Yeah.
He was
Keeping
real
you
with
real.
me.
Yeah.
Keeping it real with me. Like all of us go through this. You know what I
For
mean? Like
sure.
whatever it may be. Like so he was there with me through some like really, really rough times. So it would be him. I would say a guy that ended up being my brother. Can I get 5?
It's sure.
All right,
Mount
so
Rushmore.
I
Give you a pass.
My pass, right? So he ended up being my brother, not like actual brother. He ended up being like a really close friend of mine, a guy named Scooter. And he's been solid for me, never asked me for anything. We've been knowing each other for, 25 years. You know what I mean? So never asked me for anything, always been there through difficult times. Some guy named Jamar Adams, he played in the league for a little bit, went to the University of Michigan with me. His mom told me to look after him when he came up for a visit.
Yeah.
And I never wrote contact. So I would say that's 4. And then the 5th one would be Rodney Harrison. Because Rodney, being from, he was a South suburb guy. Yeah. And Scooter and Rodney were friends. Yeah. And he brought me around Rodney when I was a junior in high school, and I saw how an NFL athlete worked.
Okay.
So, and he allowed me to work with him, allowed me to, just pick his brain about stuff. And that dude was like unbelievably strong, like, and crazy. Rodney was a nut. Like he would wake me up at 3:00 in the morning. Hey, little guy, I just did 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. You're a loser. I'm a winner. Bye. Like that's just how this dude was.
So him calling somebody garbage is not off.
Oh,
It was not off.
No,
That was just a regular thing for him.
no.
Very much so in his wheelhouse.
His thing was always, I'm an eagle, you're a pigeon. Shut up. Like, that was his thing. That was his thing. And our trainer, he was like, all of us act like our trainer. And so yeah, I would say those 5 people. Yeah.
I love that. I love that too.
And
That's
so
good.
it was really funny because we asked that to everybody, but Namdi wanted to be different, and Peanut dressed it up and asked him the same question. He had no idea.
He had no idea.
He had no idea.
No
and then we
clue.
told him at the end. He was like, "Oh,
He was mad.
y'all got me." It was good. It was good.
I fooled everybody.
You did. I had no
Oh,
idea
man.
where Peanut was going. I
Everybody
was so
like,
nervous.
what is Peanut gonna do? And I was just like, well, I got it. Mount Rushmore. And then once I said it, I know they were just like, oh, he got him.
He got him.
Look at him. He
Got him.
Then I
Hit
was
him
just,
with that-
then I came out, dude, that's deep. I like that.
And he played. I was like, man, that's a really good question, Peanut. And I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
That
Yeah.
is hilarious. I remember when Nandi was with the Eagles with me, and that's when he started dating Kerry Washington. I was his roommate on the road games, and I was the only one that knew. And I was like, man, I wanted to say something, but I couldn't say nothing.
Well, you just did.
That was back in the day.
Exactly.
They married a long time now. It don't matter.
Stupid.
But back then there was nothing.
Oh man. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thank you for
I
blessing
appreciate
us.
yeah,
This was
appreciate
fun.
you guys.
Man,
Appreciate
thank
you guys.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm more full because you poured into us today, man. So thank you, man. I was really looking forward to seeing you, giving you a hug, and you didn't disappoint. Brought the brown jacket. You're looking clean. Your beard's tight.
I'm here with these 2 gentlemen now. Come on, you guys dress to the nines all the time.
Man, we try to, man. Peanut's been getting better.
Your shirt ugly.
Thank you. But my face isn't. So we're going to get out of here on that one, man. I want to make sure I thank all of our listeners and viewers because now they can see all of our beautiful faces, man. Wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcast. Thank you so much as always. Make sure you give us a 5-star review, click follow, tell a friend to what, Peanut?
Tell a friend.
There we go, man. We're going to get you up out of here, man. Hey, iHeartRadio Studios, thank you as always up here in New York, taking care of us, putting it down for us. Peanut, get us out of here, boss.
I'm Peanut. That's Rome. That's Jason. And this is the NFL Player Second Acts Podcast. And we out.